Good morning, everybody. All right. Good morning. My name is Matt Honan. Thanks very much to Type Kit for hosting us today. It's very nice, you guys. Let's start off by, I'm just curious, how many people here, did you guys go to school? Went to school. You guys go to school? High school? High school graduates? Middle school graduates? You go to middle school? I went to middle school. I'm very well educated. But it's also kind of an older crowd. I would guess that most of you guys had some sort of gym class, right? Gym class? Everybody had gym class? I hated gym class. Gym class is very bad for nerds typically, but I feel like I spent all my time in gym class just trying not to get involved or have people look at my junk in the shower. But I did actually learn something really valuable in gym class, sort of accidentally. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, and that is not the weather. That's the virtue of hustling. I assume a lot of people in this room are creative professionals, and we're really fortunate. We get to do something that we love. We get to not bye bird. We get to go to work and do things we love, and that's really important. And it's 100 years ago I was digging rocks out of a ditch or something. And I'm not here to talk about hustling, like prostituting yourself out or something like that as a creative professional, although we all probably do that from time to time. I'm here to talk about working hard and, more importantly, working fast. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the mic all right? Am I good? Do I need to turn anything down? Turn anything up?
A little louder.
A little louder?
Yep.
All right. Here to talk about working hard and working fast. I hope everybody's working hard anyway, because if you're not, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your life. But more importantly, I'm here to extol the virtues of working fast, of doing things quickly, and basically not getting mired down in production. When I started off as a freelance writer a long time ago, I was really bad at it. Not because I was a bad writer, I was fine, I was good. I was basically as good as I am now. But I was really bad at pitching. I would spend so much time pitching and working on these pitch letters and trying to get editors' attention, and I wanted everything to be just perfect, that I would sometimes spend a week on a pitch letter and end up never sending it because the moment had passed, or I would start doubting myself, or it was just I would convince myself it was the wrong thing and a bad idea. And it wasn't until I learned to hustle, to really go for it, to go quickly, to just get things done and get them out the door, that I started being better at being a freelance writer. And it really drove this gym class point home to me that if I'm going to be any good as a creative professional, I've got to do things fast. I can't get mired down producing things. I've got to get them out the door and basically ship them. And one of the things that I actually make a lot of are single-serving sites. I just do these kind of for fun because they're so fast and easy and quick to do. Do you guys know what those are? Yeah. You've heard of these? This is Jason Cocky's definition. I'm violating his copyright here, I'm sure, but good character, he's not here, he's in New York. Single-serving site is a website comprised of a single page with a dedicated domain name that only does one thing. A lot of you probably seen Down for Everyone or just me. You can type in the URL of like Amazon. If you go there, you go to Amazon, Amazon's not working. You go to Down for Everyone or just me, and plug in Amazon.com and see if it's your connection or it's down on the whole internet. But a lot of them are, very specific little things like that. And I make a lot of these because they're fun, fast, and easy. You can have some idea and bang it out, and start to finish in a couple of hours. And quite often, they're very bad. So this is something that I made earlier this year. It's called No Trump Card. And you remember when Donald Trump was trying to get Barack Obama to show his birth certificate? I thought it'd be kind of, fair, really, to have Donald Trump show us his social security card, social security number, to prove that he's not actually secretly Canadian. It was a terrible idea. It didn't go anywhere. Nobody, it didn't, I was hoping to basically have some little web thing and maybe even make Donald Trump have to show me his social security number so I could steal his identity. But it didn't go anywhere because it was a bad idea, but at least I did it, right? And this was even worse. This is a much worse idea. And in fairness, if you go to the website, the head moves back and forth and it clucks. but it's really dumb. I mean, you can see like artifacts, right? Did a terrible Photoshop job, and like 10 minutes. I couldn't even be bothered to get all the artifacts off there. It was terrible. I think like 7 people saw it. I'm embarrassed to show it to you guys. I'm embarrassed for you for having seen it. But this is another website that I made in a couple hours, and this is called Barack Obama Institute Bicycle.com. Again, like ostensibly, kind of seems like a dumb, bad idea, but the story that I was riding home the bus, and I thought, I was thinking about all these people who are these really ardent Obama supporters from all types of different backgrounds who sort of saw in Obama what they wanted to see, and how he was kind of this, this empty vessel that you could pour whatever you wanted to in. He could be, a extreme leftist. He could be a moderate, be a socialist, Muslim, whatever. And my wife is this big Obama supporter, a big cyclist, and I just thought this was kind of a funny thing that Barack Obama was like riding a bike. And I got home, and it was Valentine's Day the next day, and I cranked out this website in like 4 hours and pushed it live. And it was a hit, and like it's basically you go there, you click on this phrase, you get another dumb phrase. They're all in this big Helvetica font, which is sort of the emptiness of the or maybe should I say typeface? I don't know. I'm with a bunch of typefaces. Is it a font? Is it a typeface? What are we? Am I finding this in here? Anyway, but it was the idea was basically just to kind of make fun of Obama supporters and to have this weird thing you weren't really sure if it was pro or anti-Obama. And it turned out that it was a huge hit, and now there are all kinds of sites like that. And I did the whole thing in like 4 hours, and the only thing that's changed is that you can see there's now a link at the bottom to buy the book. And my point is basically that sometimes, these really dumb ideas turn out to be, is the mic off? Sometimes these really dumb ideas turn out to be quite good, and you never know in advance whether or not your idea is. Can anybody hear me in the back? Do I need to talk louder? Yeah, you guys hear me back there? You never know in advance whether or not some idea that you've got is going to be any good. You don't really know. You don't really know until you execute an idea. And the worst place for an idea is when it's still just in your head. Can I hold this and walk around? Yes. I'm not very good at standing still. Can you hear this? Is this on? Have you lost all the audio? I'm just going to yell. Oh, we're on. Okay. You never really know whether or not an idea is any good until you execute it. And basically, the only ideas that matter are ideas you execute. And to do that, a lot of times you have to hustle. People, especially creatives, we tend to doubt ourselves. We tend to doubt our ideas. We tend to overthink things and get caught up in trying to make everything really perfect. And that's kind of the enemy of a good idea. It's that whole like don't let the great be the enemy of the good notion. All ideas are really bad until you do them. I think I'm a slide behind here, but completing a project is better than making a perfect project. If you're trying to achieve perfection, you're never going to get anything done. And instead, I feel like you should focus on being something. Have we got audio yet? Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. Everything good? Audio now? All right. Back. I'm going to move on and talk about magazines. Magazines, they don't lend themselves to doing things quickly. They don't lend themselves well to hustling. I mean, they are deadline driven, but I spent a lot of time working in the magazine industry before I was at Gizmodo. And you write something for a magazine, and you may not see it for another 3 months. Magazines are very slow. They turn out an incredibly high quality product, but it's a very slow production process and a very intense production process. And so last year, some friends and I were talking, and the magazine industry is obviously in trouble. And some friends and I were talking about if there might be a way to do that a little bit better. So we had recently seen. Did you guys know Derek Płazik? Everybody here know Derek? Yeah. We had recently seen this magazine Derek Płazik had put out, where he had taken Creative Commons licensed pictures, uploaded them to this service called BackCloud, and he had a magazine, like a real 4-color glossy magazine, like a week later. And so I was in a bar with a couple of friends of mine. We were talking about how cool it would be to do something like that, with not just images, but with reported pieces and infographics and all the kind of things that you think of with a magazine, with with the front of the book section that has nice, funny, witty stuff and a feature well and all that stuff. And we wanted to do it fast though, because we thought, okay, well if Derek can do this in a week, focusing on it full time, maybe we can even do it, maybe we can even do it faster than that. Maybe we can really accelerate this magazine production cycle. And all of us had day jobs. None of us could, devote ourselves full time to that. So we said, well, what if we did it in a weekend? Could we actually make a magazine, start to finish, in 48 hours? And we decided to go for it. It's like, okay, well, why not? The idea was we would announce a theme on a Friday afternoon, and we would give people 24 hours to submit stuff based on that. And at the end, or then we'd take another 24 hours and edit that, design it, lay it out, and at the end we'd upload it to MagCloud, put it for sale, have a real goddamn magazine 48 hours after we started. And it turned out great. I mean, it was, we were amazed. We had 1,500 people send us stuff. We got this huge buzz on Twitter, and so it really kind of blew up. And we managed to actually do it. We thought we might really fall on our ass, but we managed to do it. And it turned out quite good. We called it 48-Hour Magazine. The first issue, the theme was hustle, which is what I'm talking about today, in case you forgot. And it turned out really well. It was beautiful. We loved it. We were happy with it. I think a lot of our contributors are happy with it. Robin Sloan, who's standing right there in the background, is one of our first contributors. Probably other people. Omar Lee was in that first issue. I'm sure there are probably other people in the room too. It was fantastic, but don't take my word for it. The critics loved it too. PBS Media Shift called it one of the most technologically interesting magazine projects today. This stupid little made in 48 hours magazine. The New York Times said it's a remarkable artifact. There's a reason they use the word artifact. David Carr wrote about this a few times, but I love that quote. CBS said, CBS recently commenced to use the 48-Hour Magazine, the name, for a new print magazine featuring various topics of interest, news, and current events, and have established a website, www.48hrmag.com, to solicit contributions to promote the magazine. Your use of the name in connection with the news product, namely a magazine containing newsworthy content, renders it extremely likely that consumers will associate the magazine with CBS and the highly successful 48 Hours properties and cause confusion with and trade off of the reputation and goodwill associated with 48 Hours properties. Accordingly, your use is unlawful and constitute trademark infringement, dilution, and unfair competition in violation of the Lanham Act and applicable state laws. As CBS vigorously protects its intellectual property rights, we must demand that you immediately cease any and all use or proposed use of the name, including discontinuing the use of the name in print and online and as part of your domain name, CBS. Which actually I think means they liked it. But yeah, we fucked up. Well, I still don't necessarily agree that we were infringing on their trademarks. We fucked up. We should have done some due diligence. We should have figured out whether or not CBS was going to care. We should have figured out if there was still a TV show called 48 Hours in the Air. But honestly, we screwed up. And that's the thing. If you hustle, if you do things quickly, if you go for projects, you will fuck up. And I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of. I think that's why a lot of people spend so much time in production and spend so much time trying to achieve the perfect thing, is because we're all afraid as creatives of fucking up. It's embarrassing. You put yourself out there, and you fall on your face, and you think you failed. But I tend to disagree. I feel like the real failures happen when you don't do things, when you don't complete, when you don't try. And because usually in the end, it will be okay. You may fuck up, but it's going to be okay. You can fix it. We fixed it, in this case at least. We just had to change our name. It's okay. Now we're Longshot Magazine. We're no longer 48 Hour Magazine. We're Longshot Magazine. It's fine. It's different, but it's just as good. I thought it turned out really well. The name is maybe not quite as direct. But that doesn't mean that it's still not a great magazine. This was from our last issue. It was during the, it happened to coincide with the Glenn Beck rally, and we were able to get people to go out and cover the Glenn Beck rally. This is a story by Ann Friedman, who at the time was an American Prospect, and is now an executive editor. Good, went out and covered the Glenn Beck rally for us that weekend and wrote about it. We had a photo essay from the same thing by a different photographer, and it was, it turned out really, really well. And so yeah, we fucked up, and it was scary. We had to get a lawyer.
And that'll happen to you. I mean, you may not have to get a lawyer, but when you do things, when you hustle, when you go quickly, you may screw up and you may skin your knees, but you're going to stand up again. And you can fix it. You can iterate, to use a word y'all probably use. And so my takeaway, if there is a takeaway, is to encourage you guys. It's Friday. Yesterday was Thursday. It's Friday, and the weekend's coming up, and I would really like to encourage you guys to use this time, use this weekend, to go out and make something new, start to finish, do something, build something, make something.
Does anybody have any questions for Matt? Yes.
I have a question. So I'll try to talk loud. Or use the microphone. Hey Matt, what's that connection between audacity and hustling successfully? Because it occurs to me that all of your single-serving sites are pretty audacious or funny or sharp. They're not sort of quiet little, thoughtful commentaries. And certainly Longshot is audacious. That's kind of what gives it its power and its magnetism. So to successfully hustle, do you have to be working with an audacious idea, or can it be something similar?
I mean, I think absolutely not. I mean, I think the reason that that's a common theme with me is that's just a common theme with me. I don't know. I mean, but no, I don't think so. I mean, if you look at like a lot of hack fests or food camp or these things where people come up with these brilliant, very practical ideas, brilliant, very practical projects in a short amount of time. I think that's every bit as important and probably actually more important than doing something that's audacious. I mean, in the grander scheme, audacity I think is a lot of times less important than something that's very practical. Anybody? Yeah.
Me?
Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. What was the 48 hours like making the magazine? What was it like as writers and also working with designers?
What was the 48 hours like, and what was the second part there?
Like writers and designers.
What was it like making a magazine in 48 hours with writers and designers? Stressful, but fun. We've done it a couple times now, and I should say I'd be very remiss not to tell you guys that we're doing it again next weekend in New York. If you go to www.longshotmag.com, you can sign up to take part. But it's stressful. It's putting yourself out there, and really we had generated all this interest and exposing yourself to failing very publicly, which can be embarrassing, and it's stressful. Like I worked for Wired magazine in various capacities, on and off for 7 years, and like I worked for Macworld magazine before that. Making a traditional magazine that you spend a month in the production cycle, that's stressful. That's a process where you have to get a lot of people together and focus on coming out with this great product at the end. And when you really compress that time frame, it's hard, but it's also very fun. The hardest thing for us has been trying to coordinate a whole lot of different creative people and get their work put together in a way that honors everybody's work. So that if a writer sends us something that's great, a lot of times we want to find a great piece of art to go with it, and you don't have a week or 2 weeks to send that off to an artist and have them come up with something that's fantastic. And so a lot of times kind of mix and match. Omar Lee actually did some in-house illustration for us where he could do things very quickly, and to do that. But for the most part, we have to kind of mix and match and trying to get that right where it's where it honors the art and honors the writing is probably the toughest part. Anybody else? Yes.
Do you ever allow the contributing artist to have some kind of, either the designer or the writer, to have some kind of, you're editing through and some kind of change, or?
Do we send things back for changes?
Yeah, so that it would actually make a better match or enhance the...
We do send things back for changes. Not very much though. Like it's not like the way the magazine works is we'll announce a theme at noon on Friday. We'll close submissions 24 hours later. We usually give people a couple extra hours, but not officially. But and then we've only got that next 24 hours to get everything, not just edited, but we copy edit, we fact check, we as best we can. We do all that stuff really fast. So there's not a lot of time for sending things back and forth. We do send things back. If we make a major change, we just do it. And if we make a major change, we'll send it back to let people say this is okay or this is not okay, because we don't want to totally ruin someone's creative vision. And so we try and make sure that we're at least letting people know, but we don't really do a big back and forth just because there's not time. Anybody? Anybody else? Comments? What's up?
I like the hustle.
Did you? Was I good at it?
You said comment, so that's my comment.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Was I okay? Were you checking out my butt when I was dancing? It looks like that. It doesn't. It doesn't put a lot of weight. All right, guys. Well, sorry.
What you just said, like fact checking, right? Which to me sounds like it could potentially take a long, long time, and it requires some expertise in order to. So, I mean, as far as it, I don't know, like as far as expanding the team, or this, have you thought about doing that, or maybe opening up the process to people in the community to help with the production?
We actually do that. We do that from the get-go. We're very much open to, it's the kind of thing where we build a totally ad hoc team every time, and it's the kind of thing where, like, if you want to take part, come on, and we're into that. We want people to be involved. If people are asking to be involved, we almost always say yes. I don't think there's ever been a case where we've said no. It'd have to be a pretty extreme reason. And so and you're asking about the fact check process and bringing people on. In terms of that in particular, one of the things that we do is we do basically a very top-level fact check. The guy who's our managing editor is this guy named Eric Malinowski, who was the assistant research editor at Wired magazine for a long time, and he knows the fact check process in and out, and so he's very good at it, and he's very good at assigning it out, and very good at figuring out the things that could get us into, say, legal trouble. A lot of the things that might get us into legal trouble, that's the downside of doing the magazine in 48 hours. If we don't have time to vet it, we can't run it, and that sucks, but that's how it is. And to some extent, when you're making a magazine over a weekend, no matter how many people you get to help in the fact check process, you're not going to be able to do it because you can't call somebody at work on Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon and figure out what you need to know. What's up, Omar?
Legal trouble. Post-CBS, what was your process for coming up with multiple names, and what were some of the names you discarded?
Some of the names we discarded. What was our post-CBS? What was our process for coming up with new names? What was the names we discarded? Basically, our process for coming up with names was sitting around and drinking beer, which is how we came up with the name the first time. Some names we discarded were 2880 Minute Magazine, 47 and a half Hour Magazine, which was, we were going to make it a little bit faster. Trying to think of any others. I think we thought of calling it Quick Time Magazine. Because one thing we learned is when we had all these articles about the legal troubles. There were a lot of articles about the legal troubles, and those sold a lot of magazines. Every time somebody would write something about our legal troubles, we'd sell a bunch of magazines until we had to quit selling. Now we can't sell any more of that first issue. But yeah, it was certainly tempting to call ourselves something else that might have gotten us in trouble.
Okay, I think we have time for one more.
I just want to know what goes into selecting the theme, and do you do that all in one day too, or do you have a list of things?
We have a big list, and we try to do stuff that's like the first issue was Hustle, second issue was Comeback. We try and do stuff that's a little bit self-referential, but that also is open to a variety of interpretations and has a variety of meanings. We're going to announce our next theme next Friday, and it's actually it was actually something that we had almost used for the very first one, and it's kind of relevant to us again, and we think relevant to society at large. We try and do things that are not just, that work on a lot of different levels, and so we basically come up with a big list and then start striking things off. And I think that's it. So thanks to Creative Mornings and Typekit and Chapter 3. It was very nice seeing you guys, and you all are excellent dancers.